Talking, that's right, me. In this video I will be talking about and reviewing season 1 of the show Succession. So sit back and relax and let's get into it. So normally I do a bit of a summary and then I start my review, but today I'm going to do things a bit different. I'm going to talk about every single character and what I think about them, and then I do some other stuff, and at the end I just give my score. Now before I continue, this review will not spoiler major events or situations taking place, but I will be talking about arcs and maybe spoil some more little events or moments. So if you want to go spoiler free into this show, I recommend that you watch my other videos because those are hella sexy. The first character I want to talk about is obviously Kendall. I guess you could say that at least for season 1 that Kendall is the main character of the story. His whole arc is that he wants to take over the company, both for his own reasons but also because he cares for his father. And this is done so satisfyingly. Through the whole season he knows that he's kind of fucking his father, but at the same time he feels sympathy for him and wants to morally justify why he does it. The show does this in a very satisfying way. It shows a form of Kendall doing an action kind of failing, and then Kendall learns or succeeds a bit from it, and repeat. And therefore Kendall slowly becomes better and stronger. At the end this hits you in the face, but I won't talk about the last episode. That shit you'll have to see for yourself. I also like that Kendall isn't perfect in any way. He had drug problems and marriage problems, and in this season you can see he still fights with that and tries to balance it. And it makes it even more satisfying when you see him win sometimes, because it feels like everything he succeeds in feels earned. And in a show called Succession, that is pretty important. Roman is just great. He doesn't really impact the story in any major way, and he's mostly in the shadows. He had a few bigger actions and situations, but for the rest he doesn't have a main role when it comes to the story. But he does have a main role when it comes to being comedic relief, because oh boy, Roman is pretty funny. You kind of have these big moments where you're like, oh my god, what the fuck, and then Roman just makes you cool off a bit with his existence, and it's balanced perfectly. Roman is a rich prick and he resembles that the best of all the characters. He also feels a lot like a real being. He doesn't just feel like the comedic relief, but more like a comedic relief, in the sense that he still has other roles to fill. It makes him not come over too annoying or forced, and also at the same time feel needed when the show is a bit too filled with the same tension and plot. Shiv is very interesting, I think. See, what this season kind of does is reveal the big battle that Kendall and his father are having with each other, but Roman and Shiv, the brother and sister of Kendall, are kind of the jokers in poker. They play off everyone else and switch between sides all the time, but they still get an arc, and you can see that they become more important for later seasons to come. Shiv is kind of like Roman, but she's more serious and has more power. You can also see that she begins to lean towards Kendall's side more and more. Throughout the whole season you can see more moments where she is like, whoa, my dad is kind of an asshole, and that is just so great to see. Greg is probably my favorite character. Now I have only watched season 1, so I don't know shit for later, but I really feel like Greg is going to be important later, or at least I hope. Greg really feels out of place. He just kind of gets thrown into the story, but this show does this on purpose. Greg doesn't really feel like he belongs anywhere, but he slowly gets more and more important, and he weirdly, without realizing himself, has a lot of power, because a lot of characters treat him like a joke. He gets the dirty work of others, and he realizes major plot moments way before the others see it. But he just never realizes it's important. And how powerful that is, and that is just always fun to see. Greg is just a nice blend into the mix. Now, before I talk about the best character, this show has a lot of side characters. You have the father's wife, you have Kendall's wife, you have Kendall's other brother, Connor, you have his wife, you have Shiv's husband, and all those characters play a role, but they are almost never really in the spotlight, only for a short time when the story needs them to. The best way I could describe Succession is as a sort of twisted chess. All the main family members are the most important and do the biggest roles, but the side characters hang mostly in the shadows, but they are a part of the game. If one little side character loses in some situation or does something stupid, the whole board evolves and changes because of it. Now I saved the best for last. Logan Roy, or Daddy Roy. This fucking dude, this character is just so great. Every side character feels balanced out with each other. Every main character feels balanced out. But Kendall and Logan really feel like the kings fighting throughout the show. And Logan feels like the bigger man. Like, it's satisfying to see Kendall's uprise, but it's also satisfying to see Logan slowly fall. Logan is the big businessman, and you see that. He doesn't take shit from anyone, and he knows how the world works. He always has tricks up his sleeve. He feels like a perfect crafted villain. He is falling, but he doesn't lose without a fight, and oh boy does he fight back. He's the more experienced one, and now that I see that this show is still going and has 4 seasons at the moment, I can understand why. The show kind of does this with most characters, and that is that it kind of shows one side of them at the beginning and then makes you realize how they truly are. Kendall comes over as an annoying business dude who wants to take the company at first, but you see that he cares for his father and is struggling with the past, and you learn that more and more. And with Logan, it's the complete opposite. Logan you see first as a sad old angry man who is struggling a bit mentally but also physically. But throughout the season you see what a true beast he actually is, and that he is strong and an annoying business dude. In this way, Kendall and Logan are like red and blue, being opposites at first and at the end, but both evolving and changing through time. Now some other stuff about the show. First of all, the music. God damn, the music is good. The music is like this rich people classical music, and it fits perfectly. When you hear the intro of this show for the first time, you just get an instant boner, trust me. The music is uplifting and strong, but also beautiful and raw at times. It's just perfect. A show or movie with good music in the mix is just always nice. The same goes for the cinematography, or well, it's kind of a hit or miss for me. Now, I don't really like shows or movies where the cam is shaky and walking all the time. For shows like Shameless, I think it works. It's a chaotic show with chaotic people, and it's more down to earth and human. But in a show about rich people, it feels a bit cheap and weak at times. Sometimes the camera is still and has a good shot, and then it's just wonderful. I had multiple times where I just paused the episode and just stared at my screen because of how good it looked. But in scenes where there is shaky cam, I do get a bit annoyed at times. But that is probably just a personal preference. The acting in this show is, well, you guessed it, good. Not only does this show have an actor that is in my favorite movie of all time, which name I never know how to pronounce. The actors Brian Cox and Jeremy Strong, haha, Strong Cock, they do a fantastic job at their character. Especially Brian just does a fantastic job here. All the other actors are also great though, don't get me wrong. The characters really blend with each other and the actors as well. And when you have that in a drama show where that is the case, it's automatically just fun to watch no matter what. Overall, I give Succession Season 1 a 9 out of 10. Yes, it's that good. I recommend this show to people who like drama shows, but also more artistically directed shows, and for people who like Game of Thrones before it got shit. Anyway, that was my review. Like and subscribe like always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.